Hello YouTube, Mr. Surplus Nut, bringing the third part to this video on accurizing the SKS m59 66 sniper platform. And the reason I'm calling it sniper platform, because to be able to get the most accuracy out of this weapon, you will have to kind of like turn it into a sniper rifle, basically. You know, you will have to do things that it will end up looking like any rifle that's been, you know, upgraded with different components, as far as a bipod, a scope mount, maybe a trigger spring, different things that you will do to try to accurize any rifle. Okay, so right now I just want to go through the basic things that you will need to start off by getting the most accuracy out of your SKS. And one thing will be your scope mount. And on this weapon, I want to show you guys. Okay, I just want to show you the type of scope. Let's see if I can zoom on it a little bit. The type of scope mount that is the most solid to put on an SKS. The most common type that you will have out there is your receiver cover. There's a couple of different ones. I find this is the most solid if you're gonna go with a receiver type cover scope mount. Okay, and like you guys see, I have this one already with the rings on it, and I have a 6x32 scope on there. It also has the recoil buffer. I don't know if you guys can see it there. Yeah, you can see it inside there. There you go. Let me get the light in there. See that hole there? That's the rubber. There you go. The rubber or polymer receiver cover. Sorry, the polymer recoil buffer inside this receiver cover for the SKS. The reason I have this set up, this scope has already been zeroed, and I can either install it on my Jugo M59 SKS or my other, which I've only shot it twice, so I've only done it once, on my other M59 66 A1 SKS, the one that is like it's got like the blonde color stock. You guys that are familiar with my videos in my channel, you probably have seen that video already. This one, sometimes I can put it on, and pretty much it goes on, and I do get like a pretty solid fit out of this scope mount. But since I can put it on either SKS, my M59 or my M59 66 A1, it's a little loose, but this scope's been zeroed, it's been sighted already. So yeah, the groups, it varies a little bit from rifle to rifle. It'll vary, like probably like a 1/4 inch or something like that. It opens up a little more on one, less on the other, or and vice versa. But on this one, when you get this scope mount, obviously you're gonna get it without the rings and the scope. The manufacturer that I bought this from, you see how this has the two little tips here? They normally come oversized, or the length of it's a little bit longer. And if you try to fit it on your receiver, on your SKS, it will not fit. I mean, this is if you get it from the manufacturer, and I don't know if some of the ones that do this style do it the same way, but the one I bought it from, I can't remember who it was, but the one I bought it from, it came with the instructions that you have to get these two little prongs with a file, because they come a little bit longer, and you're supposed to file it down and you gotta file it a little bit, try it on your receiver till you can get the receiver locking pin that turns to lock it down into your receiver. You want to file it down little by little till you get the tightest fit possible. Okay, as you go on little by little, you notice that it's not you're unable to run the little locking lever pin from the receiver on your SKS, and you gotta keep filing, and you don't want to do it too much because then you're gonna have too much of a loose fit. The ideal is to try to get it as snug as possible, and they work pretty decent, believe it or not. Yeah, it's not solid, it moves a little bit, but that movement, if you try to do it by the instructions of filing these things in the front, the movement is going to be so minimum that your variance is going to be, as far as your grouping, it'll probably move here and there like you know, a 1/4 inch, maybe 3/8. That's pretty much it. Or, you know, even if it moves, let's give them the benefit of the doubt on the shifting on the receiver cover. If it moves like, let's say, a 1/2 inch, for a rifle like this at 100 yards, that's pretty good. You can even go hunting getting groups like that. Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys the most typical and common receiver cover type scope mount. Okay, a lot of guys go this way to scope their SKSs. Obviously, sometimes you go with a small scope that you can load your SKS with the stripper clips. If you go obviously with a longer scope like the one I have, you're not going to be able to use your stripper clips, and you're going to have to load it by hand. It doesn't take me long. I can load up 10 rounds by hand like nothing. If you guys that have done that, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so basically that's what I was saying in the first part of the video. Guys start off like this, and they start off shooting it off a sandbag. They end up getting a rear bag, or they go with a bipod or something. Before you know it, buddy, you do have a sniper platform, if we can call it like that, because you're shooting off a table, and you know that's the look you're giving your SKS. So that's why I started calling it that when guys started knocking me down. Oh my God, you want to be a sniper? That was never meant to be a sniper rifle. You know, give me a freaking break, man. You know. But anyways, so this is the way that, you know, most people go. I wanted something solid, so what I did, I got the Coed scope mount, the ones that you have to drill and tap. It's got 2 holes in the front, 2 in the back that you have to drill and tap into your receiver. That's why you gotta be make sure this is the way you want to go with your SKS, because if you decide to take this off, you're gonna end up with 4 holes on the side of your receiver. And you do have to remove a little bit of the wood, very little bit, a small amount on your wood stock. It's hardly noticeable. Okay, so I went ahead and I went with this scope mount, extremely solid. It has never, I mean, this thing is being held by those 4 screws like I told you, and it has never ever shifted on me. Extremely solid. Then I went ahead and put a scope. You can go whichever scope you want. I don't want to get into the specs of a scope. And then I did notice when I was shooting some of the cases, I had a Bushnell scope on here, and I noticed before I had when I had that other scope, I noticed the cases sometimes they would hit the bottom, and it was like marrying the scope. So I went ahead and I got a case deflector. Now this is the one when you buy it that comes with a little long extension, and supposedly you're supposed to lift your rear leaf side and somehow kind of like clamp it on there. It wasn't staying on very sturdy, so I cut that thing off, and I went ahead and also I drilled and tapped it into the receiver, and this thing now is solid on there. And every case that I fire, it completely shoots it all the way to the right without hitting my scope. It doesn't bounce back in there to try to, you know, jam the bolt or my receiver or anything. It just completely deflects it to the right, and it works great. I don't have a problem breaking this weapon apart, removing the receiver cover, my spring and bolt, everything comes out fine. Even though I do have this permanent scope mount drilled and tapped into it, and also the case deflector. So this is the way to go if you were to go ahead and start adding stuff to the SKS. Okay, you want to start off by having a very good, decent scope mount. You can go with this. I'm telling you, groups are not going to change that much. Okay, and the case deflector, that's up to you if you want to put it on. The other thing that I went ahead and got was the if you go to Wolf, I think it's wolf.com, they sell like different springs for SKS's and other different guns. I know they have for sure the ones for the SKS. And you go to wolf.com and you get the spring kit to line up the trigger on the SKS. Okay, it completely drops it. I think it takes it down to like maybe like I think it's like 2 pounds or 2.5, maybe 3. I know these have sometimes like an 8 or 9 pound trigger pull, and it also you can either just use it. The thing with the nice thing about the spring is that it turns your SKS as like a single stage or 2-stage trigger. Okay, and I will show you guys that right now how that works. Let me go ahead and all right, you can either come back with the, and let me show you guys real close. Okay, I'm just gonna go back, okay, as a single pull, single stage, and I want you guys to see how light this trigger is. Okay, right there. I mean, it's gonna have a little bit of creep or whatever they call it going back, but if you barely touch it, there, you leave it there, and it kind of like activates your second stage. And when you pull it back very slightly, it goes off. So you can leave it, once you cycle your bolt, you can leave it as a regular, you know, single stage that you pull it back, or sometimes you can just grab it and go back a little bit, and you're gonna notice that it's gonna come back, but it's still not gonna go off. I mean, once you do it, you get the hang of it, and then once you engage it into a second stage trigger, then the second pull, it's very, very light. You just touch it, pop, and it goes off. So that's how I shoot this weapon. A lot of times I cycle the bolt and I come back with it real slow. I mean, once you get the hang of it, you know where to stop. Okay, once you see how it's got that play, you'll notice that it'll start pulling back, and then it starts getting, right when it starts getting hard on you, you want to leave it there. Okay, and then you let it go. Then on the second pull, it's just a matter of getting it to where it stopped. Okay, all that play, you're gonna bring it back to where it stopped, and from there on, it's just a very light pull, and it goes off. So it does work as a single and double stage trigger once you put that Wolf spring on there. All right, we're gonna come back to this and on this other part of the video.